relationship with Sims games is a bit complicated. I started with Sims 1, then I played way too much of Sims 2, and don't even get me started on Sims 3. But the only game that I actually never played, and it's a mixture of not really liking the way it looked from the start, hearing all the problems that it has, and just overall kind of getting out of the love of Sims games, and that was of course Sims 4. So what I decided to do was hop in and play Sims 4 until I 100%ed it. Now this is the base game, no DLCs, and it's like the most latest version, and also on top of all of that, it's on console, more specifically on the PS5. So basically what happens is I go and complete all of the trophies to try to unlock the platinum trophy, which is the like completionist of I guess all of the challenges that the game has to offer for you. It's really almost fully 100%ing it. The only thing that I don't fully do is the aspirations, which if you want to count them for 100%ing, guess I don't, but apart from that, I do absolutely everything, or at least I hope I do absolutely everything that the base game has to offer, and it was quite the journey, so hope you enjoy. So starting things off, I had to of course create Jonathan. As cool as it is and as creative as you can be with other Sims versions, I was just not able to get him to look the way I would have personally wanted it to, so I just kind of landed on a style, and you know what, that's just what Jonathan is gonna look like. The character customization overall in this game is kind of interesting because it has obviously the addition of traits, which I went for romantic, foodie, and bro. Yeah, he's a bro. And also the idea of aspirations, which I feel like a lot of you who are watching this video, since Sims 4 is such a giant game right now and just has been for the past few years, already know what these are, but still for the video's purpose I will quickly explain what these are. These are basically challenges that if you complete the sub challenges of these challenges, you will be rewarded with reward points. These reward points are then able to redeem many different things inside of the game that will benefit your sim in many different ways, from your normal potions that change your emotions, and there's like a whole bunch of them, to making your sim a bit younger, which is definitely one of my favorite ones because Jonathan, you are never going to die. But then the best rewards have to be ones that just allow you to get rid of those whole like needs that your sim has, from never having to sleep, never having to eat, never having to use the bathroom or socialize with other sims. This is definitely one of the best things, and why I was always, and I feel like anyone is ever motivated to complete the aspirations inside of the game. But also you kind of do need to complete 5 aspirations for a trophy inside of the game, so might as well just get through them. So I chose the painting one because I don't know, I like painting inside of games and in real life, so it's like the best one to always go for, in my opinion at least, and also it gives you a lot of money, so why not? Now something different that I wanted to try was building inside of this game. Now I am on a console, so it's definitely not as fun as it will be on PC, as in my past experiences the only time I ever built was on a PC. But since I wanted to experiment and check out what Sims 4 has to offer, especially since I do really like the aesthetic that just overall the buildings have. Not a fan of the way Sims look inside of the game, it's kind of like a downgrade from Sims 3, but the detailing of the assets has always interested me, so I wanted to test out some of the building. Now I kind of am rusty with my building experience, so it didn't go the best. It took me forever to kind of like understand a lot of the things that is inside this game. Basically pick up stuff and kind of like drag them up to make them taller. You have like medium and tall and small walls, and also just overall I feel like I made a lot of space instead of less space, which is one of my favorite things about Sims 4 and the idea of it. Even though I haven't played too much of it in my past, I think it's really cool that you can have tighter spaces and your sims can still walk through them, and not like old games where they look up and they're like, what do you want me to do? And there's like, you know, a whole bunch of space there. So I wanted to try to do that, but it ended up being just a huge open rectangle. But because of that, I was able to fill up the whole space with just a whole bunch of different things that will allow me to progress through a lot of skills, because most of the 100%ing of this game, or just the platinum road ahead of me, is getting all of the skills learned and completed, which there is a lot of them, so I better get started on these. The most important thing that I wanted to get first was an easel, just because I did choose that painting aspiration, and again, it's a really great way of making money. From there, it was the normal typical thing that happens at the start of Sims, where a bunch of neighbors started coming over, so I had him interacting with them here and there, and the plan as a whole to make paintings and then money back was actually working out very well. One of the newer things with painting, at least in Sims 4, is that you have to buy certain sizes of canvases, so I was trying to work at a profit so that I would spend money to make money. So that was one of the big things that I was really trying to look out for, and as of right now, you know, hey, He's making some kind of profit here and there. Now, aside from him painting, the neighbors were just constantly piling up, which I get it. Making relations is really important, especially since there is a trophy where I have to go through 26 generations inside of the game. So Jonathan will have to find someone at some stage so that they can have a baby, and that can be the start of the generations. But right now, I'm not in the mood for that. Right now, I want to get through the skills as fast as possible so that I can move on to those jobs, which, side note, do not do this. I did this in a video. It's a bit of a spoiler since we are at the beginning of the video, but I decided to concentrate on every single one of the skills first, expecting to make my life so much easier for the jobs. Yeah, it made my life easier for the jobs, but also not, because jobs inside of this game take absolutely forever to complete. So if you are planning to complete this 100% in goal or whatever after you watch this video and feel motivated, thinking, oh hell yeah, I can do this as well, what I recommend for you to do is concentrate on a skill that is required for a job. So basically just look it up, complete that skill, and then go into that job while working on other side skills, because there's so many jobs. Oh, you're just gonna have to wait and see inside the video. This platinum was fun, but also it made me sad. That's the best way to describe it. Aside from that, he was actually making some okay-ish progress on painting. And since he was making progress, I had the ability of making different types of paintings. And one of them is actually kind of cool. It's to paint from reference. So I was able to get like a camera and then choose as to what I wanted him to paint. So I wanted him to paint this It Takes Two poster that, well, it doesn't say It Takes Two, but this is It Takes Two. So paint that, my guy. While he was doing that, I made a discovery that I never bothered making a roof, which I gotta say, my biggest weakness in Sims building ever since I've been young and playing these games has been building roofs. And the cool thing with Sims 3, at least on console, that I really liked was you could have selected a pre-built roof where I did it for you. But unfortunately, Sims 4 isn't that nice, so they forced me to try to make a roof and it was really bad. But you know what? The amount of times I use the roof or even look from the sky at this house is like 6 times throughout this playthrough, maybe 7. Let's say max 10. So I don't really care, but I give him my best shot. From there, he was just painting away, being a good boy, just painting and painting. He did actually make some solid progress on some other side skills, which one of them is cooking. So that was really cool. And then I also messed around with the camera inside of this game, because you can zoom in very close in on your Sims, which is really cool because then you can really look at those assets. I don't know why I'm so obsessed with this, but I just really like the way stuff looks in this game. What you doing there? Huh? What you looking at? I will be honest, probably giving him this computer was one of the biggest disadvantages. The only reason I got it is because I want to work on the writing skill next. But man, the amount of times he was like, I want to go play games. You know, it is a skill to get the video game skill up to level 10, but not yet, man. Should I get rid of it? But then again, I spend money, and if I sell it, I think it'll be sold at a loss, and I don't want to make less money. I want to make more money. So I'll just have to deal with it for now. Also, something different is the whole like social idea inside this game. You have a mobile phone now, and Sims can message you or call you if they want to come over. Or something that was new to me is the like decision making, where they're like, should I do this? Should I do that? It's definitely annoying. And I tried to make Jonathan's social experiences or social life as little as possible, because I like to play these games super fast forwarded. The faster I get through it, the more stuff I can get done faster. But every single time somebody called or somebody asked for a recommendation, it always slowed down time. Jonathan leveled up the painting skill enough to unlock the flirty painting, and I was really curious as to how flirty it was going to be, and it turned out to be this. Champagne glass is flirty, I guess. Okay. Let's try that again. Okay, that's better. 2 people in a puddle, kind of sad, but also not, depending on the way you want to look at it. Might be looking too much into it, but I'll take it. Also, some of the aspirations were requiring him to make masterpieces, and of course as well, because the better quality the painting is, the more money he can make. And somehow Squiggles is a masterpiece. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense, if I'll be honest. And he made a total of 931 simoleons for this bad boy. Also, something that returns, I guess, inside of Sims 4, which is, well, with a lot of other features, is is the idea of a burglar. So a burglar ended up coming over, trying to steal some stuff, and I had the game extremely sped up, so I had really no idea what just happened, but I made him fight the burglar to get a crafting table back, which he did successfully. And to make the situation more confusing, right after he did that, since the game was sped up, he just went over and started like showering right away. Maybe playing at really fast speed isn't the best idea, especially since the Sims in this game also do this thing where I tell them to do one thing and then they decide to completely stop doing the thing they chose themselves to do to go to the thing that I told them to do. Whereas I don't really want them exactly to do that right away, if that makes sense. I would prefer for them to instead make the thing that they're making, let's say food, and if I tell them to then shower, go shower after. One really nice thing that I gotta give this game as well is that the Sims do pick up skills very fast. There are certain rewards that will allow me to do it even faster later, but Jonathan got to level 8 painting relatively quickly, and also he was up to 10,000 simoleons, which mightn't seem like a lot. If you play this game for a long time, you're probably up into the millions, but you know what? For him starting off, building his own house / me building his own house and using up most of his money, I'll take it. Onto a feature that I'm not really a big fan of, and that is whenever you repair stuff, there's always a pile of scraps that shows up right away next to the area that you repair something. I get it, this allows you to then search through those scraps and get things that will then allow you to upgrade your machines later on, because you do need scraps to upgrade stuff, but man, this kind of sucks. Even though you look through those scraps, after doing that, you are then left with just a pile of trash that then your sim has to try to throw away. And if they don't throw it away, it then starts stinking up, and then obviously the environment isn't nice, and then your sim has different emotions that could range from like, you know, just uncomfortable or sad or whatever like that. I really don't like this. I really don't. And thankfully it got to a stage where the Sims did actually clean up after themselves, but Jonathan at the start was really annoying and did not do that kind of stuff on his own. And another feature that I really dislike about Sims as a whole, like overall it's stupid and sucks, is that little glowing thing in the top right corner. If you look, it's a shopping cart. I wonder what that shopping cart represents. Oh yes, multiple, and I mean multiple over-the-top expensive packs that unfortunately Sims 4 has become over the past few years, and they really want you to buy these. Like the fact that the entire time that I played this, which was like over 100 hours of constantly playing Sims 4 every single day for like 3 weeks, I saw this glowing yellow dot, glowing even when it's paused, just all the time being like, buy me, buy me, buy me. And you know what? As of right now, I haven't. But after pouring in countless hours into this game, kind of want to buy some of them. I did have fun playing this game, but man, EA, what have you become? What a shame. But I guess it makes sense. To make money, you gotta make money. Right? No, what am I trying to say? Honestly, I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but it really annoyed me, and it's really stupid, and I hate how many packs this game has, comparing it to Sims 1, 2, and 3. Too many, and it's still going. One even released while I was playing this game. Yeah. Anyway, level 9 painting. Look at him go. He's almost at level 10, which might give me my, I guess, second trophy, which I forgot to mention. I already had one trophy playing the game in the past. It was like for having a sim do nothing social for 24 hours. Everybody seems to have this trophy. It's, I think, the first one that anyone unlocks inside of the game. Also, another challenge for an aspiration is to admire 3 paintings at a museum, which means that after countless days of playing inside of the house, I get to finally explore the outside of this world, and it took me quite a while to figure out how you explore. Comparing this to Sims 3 on console, once again for the millionth time, it's a very simple process. Press one button, then you get the option of going outside, or at least to the map, and then you choose the location you want to travel to. In this, it's very similar, but unfortunately it's not as self-explanatory. You kind of have to look for it. Turns out that the way you do it is by going over to your phone and going to the travel option, then telling it to travel, and then telling him who to travel with, and then after telling him to travel with, you have the option of choosing where to go, but you have to go through countless loading screens, and then when you make your way over to the location, you don't even get the option of staying back at your house by yourself, which I guess makes complete sense. But I did like that feature inside of Sims 3, which had the ability of, hey, you want to stay back at the house, or do you want to go with your sim? Of course you want to go with your sim, but it's nice to have the option to stay back at home. Very small nitpicking. Actually, there's quite a lot of nitpicking, but again, it's Sims 4. It's like the worst version of every other Sims game in my opinion, but I I do also like it. Very mixed opinions on my behalf, I'm sorry. Anyway, after he did that, the last thing I have to do is get level 10 and also 5 masterpieces, which will allow me to complete the painting aspiration, which is kind of exciting. I wonder what I get for it at the very end of it. Spoiler, just a lot of points, nothing special unfortunately. Overall, I did kind of like the outing, even though I just complained about all the stuff that they could have done better. It was still nice to explore the architecture and just design of the outside world. I did choose the normal location, which I did go through, like the one where there's like absolutely no other houses, the desert, and of course this one, which I know is like the default location, but I don't have any packs at least yet, so I just went with the best one that I could have. A bit off topic, but I tried to enhance the house a tiny bit. I added more windows, since natural lighting is always nice to have in real life and in Sims games, especially how the lighting looks inside of this game. I do really appreciate that, and it goes back to the way they actually did make the overall building experience inside of this game so much better than past games. And then after that, his PC broke, which I told him to try to fix it, and I got introduced to an emotion that was at least brand new to me, which was dazed, because he got electrocuted while trying to fix his computer. Now obviously, the more that you level up your handiness skill, the less stupid things that they do, like, you know, electrocuting themselves, but I still think that was something noteworthy, because there's a lot of emotions in this game, like a whole bunch. And there's a trophy where you have to get most of them within 24 hours of like your sim waking up, and that's a trophy I guess I'll work on later. But just the amount of freaking emotions that there is inside of this game is definitely unique and different from past games, and I kind of like it, but also don't. It definitely does, I guess, spice up the way you play the game. It's not just, you know, your basic ones that you had in the past, which I guess there wasn't really that many emotions in the past, so this is definitely a brand new addition. Whoa! 2.6 thousand simoleons for this painting. Well, this gotta be a masterpiece, so you can make a whole bunch of money inside of this game. I remember I was able to sell like 1,000 for one painting inside of Sims 3. God damn. But anyway, there we go. He has finally obtained his official, slightly more challenging, time-consuming trophy, the refined palette one, which is for level 10 of the painting skill. One down, so many more to go. And even though I was done with this skill, I did try to push him just a tiny bit more so he can get those 2 more masterpieces, so that I could have 1 out of the 5 aspirations completed. And as he did that, a bunch of people wanted to come over and hang out, and one of the people that did come over, I had the option to ask about woohoo interests, which I didn't really know what that meant. I did go with that option, and all I got was he learned them. What do you mean he learned their woohoo interests? What does that mean? Where do I find out this information? What? And since I guess she told me, I kind of kept on pushing him to go further and further, so he started doing sexy poses, kissing hands, and he was doing all of this while she was trying to play Sims 1. Another really cool feature inside of this game. The games that they play are games from like past EA games, I think. At least I only recognize Sims 1, because hell yeah, Sims 1 on top. From there, he got the option to do his first kiss, which was really cool, and surprisingly kind of started working out very fast, because I think she also had the flirty trait. So yeah, let's go, Jonathan. Everything was moving so fast, I even got the option to try for a baby. They're not even boyfriend or girlfriend yet. This game allows you to do a lot of stuff very fast, doesn't it? But after a few more interactions, I got the option to choose them to be my partner, which they agreed with. Also, by the way, their name is Liberty. I think they're like one of the default people that always show up inside of the game. Might as well start this 26 generations faster than I was planning. Why not? Ah, look at him go. Woohooing. I didn't tell him to make a baby yet. I'm not ready to take care of a child, but I wouldn't mind him having a romantic interest this early on. It definitely makes my life a bit easier. Also, another thing that I do really like inside of the game is the way the whole like relationship and flirtiness stuff works. They definitely upgraded a lot of their animation, from like kissing to just overall the way they behave. Sometimes you can have a sim go over to another sim and just give them a smooch and then go on with their life. It's kind of like a very interesting way of making this world feel a bit more alive, even though the other stuff that the Sims do doesn't feel as good as that. So they definitely put in way more work in the relation side of things, but still, I'm okay with that. I think it was pretty cool. It made the experience way more enjoyable and actually kind of weirder by just staring at 2 Sims kissing and woohooing and making out and stuff like that. But you know, I'm here for you, Jonathan, all the way through all of your life and all of your life experiences in multiple different Sims iterations, because that's what bros do. Yeah, he has that bro trait. You go, Jonathan. So much was happening in just like a few hours that he got the option to propose, which I decided to have him take the risk. And something that can happen, and I think it can happen in any game, is the fact that he got rejected. So they also have upgraded the sim ideology, because the reason she rejected him wasn't because she doesn't like him, it was just because stuff was moving too fast. So now my boy Jonathan is unfortunately embarrassed and very sad because he got rejected with a proposal. I will come back to this and I will do it again, but that's a bit of a shame because you do need to have 5 spouses that you need to outlive, so I can't imagine how painful that's going to be. But for now, Liberty, you are going to be mine, or well, sorry, Jonathan's at some stage. We'll get you. As I was trying to make Jonathan feel better, she did decide to leave, which I guess was for the best. And then I got introduced to the idea of 2 different styles of cooking inside of this game. That's right, there's just not normal cooking, there's also gourmet cooking. And no, get this, they also have their own skill sets. So that's great. The really cool thing is, cooking inside of this game, even gourmet cooking, is actually kind of super easy to level up with a skill. So I never had any trouble with it, and it just kind of became like a side thing that happens. But still, why is there gourmet cooking and normal cooking? Never throughout my playthrough did I notice a difference. I get it, gourmet cooking is the more gourmet stuff, and then normal cooking is like, you know, your grilled cheese. But I feel like it's a very unnecessary thing to split them up, especially since if you even go into the culinary career, it's not like there's a huge difference between what they want you to do or the options. You get an option between like mixology and normal cooking, so it's not that special or unique. But yeah, weird. Also, on top of that, he got the 2 masterpieces finally completed. Means that the creative aspiration isn't done, because guess what? Each aspiration has its own aspiration subsection, which I already said. I was doing the painting one, which now I will have Jonathan move over to the writing one, which finally that computer that has been a huge distraction not only for him but his partner Liberty is going to be coming useful finally. Also, something I never brought up is he made like 38 grand just from painting. I guess there was a lot of painting because it did take a while to make those masterpieces, but man, 38,000 simoleons just from painting that fast? I guess I poured in quite a lot of hours to do this, but still, hell yeah, game is definitely not going to be an issue with money. Also, Jonathan, for some odd reason, was mourning. Like, I don't really know who died, but it's something that happens quite a lot inside this game. If a sim knows another sim, they will get sad for like 2 days, and then you can't do most of the stuff, or at least most flirtatious stuff, which happens a lot throughout the game. Like, a lot of times that I wanted him to do something like specifically flirtatious, I couldn't because he was too sad, or at least social interaction. There's a lot of deaths throughout this playthrough. Also, something that I noticed was that I made the bathrooms somehow lower than most of the like normal building and floor design. I don't really know how this happened. Like, I have no idea how I accidentally made the floor lower. I never fully figured out how I could make it higher. So if you're watching this video and have an explanation as to how the hell I did this, I would love to know, because I have no idea. Did I make it like on the front porch by accident? Is that even possible? I don't really know. But floor was always lower down in this bathroom. From there, it was a bit of a mess. A lot of writing, Liberty coming over and him trying to flirt with her, but then getting sad straight after, which is the thing that I told you that I struggled with a lot. Then after that, she kept on calling him to tell him that she's like friends with people, still giving them time until I propose again. And just, yeah, a lot of progress in the skill and I don't know, other stuff like that. Until she came over very angry one day. Then I had Jonathan try to calm her down, which somehow worked out. And then I got the like pink flirtatious romantic bar all the way up, and it allowed me to get the courage to try to propose to her once again as Jonathan, and it worked. Wow, that was a risky one. I was actually kind of stressed that he was gonna get rejected again, but you know, it was quite a few days later and she finally was like, yeah, let's do this. So how do I marry her? Do I have to wait for that as well? Also, since he now has like a whole bunch of money, I decided to invest in an expensive like workout machine, which I don't really plan on using too much right now. Bought like my first reward, which was an inspired potion, since I need to write for an hour while inspired for the aspiration side of things. One of the weird things is that you purchase these and they get put into your inventory, so it took me a while to understand how that worked. I thought it was just gonna apply it straight away, but I guess it makes sense since it is a potion. And after writing so many freaking books, I only now figured out that they don't get published like right away after you finish them. The way you publish inside of this game is you have to go over to your mailbox and then specifically publish them, which is way more complicated than it should have been. At least in Sims 3, all you had to do was just finish a book, and it even got posted to like an editor that paid you a tiny bit of money every single time you sent them a new chapter or whatever, which the game did automatically, and then published the books on its own and you got paid every week a certain amount of money. It's basically the same thing in this apart from an editor, and you have to specifically publish them so that you can get that money every week, but I still think it's so unnecessarily stupid, and I don't think it should have been like that, but you know, whatever. Sims 4 likes to complicate stuff as it already has with many other things. And also, I guess on a positive side, it is a daily royalty that you get and not a weekly one. Something I noticed that started happening to Jonathan was he was getting a bit chunky. So for some odd reason inside of this game, Sims love getting fat. They will not work out on their own. The amount of times and the amount of Sims I obviously went through this with the 26 generations, oh my god, they were all tubby tubs. They were all chunky chunks, and you know, I'm okay with that. I have no problem with that, but I don't want Jonathan to be fat, so it kind of started bothering me. I started trying to make him work out and do some other options, but nothing was really working. I tried to not distract myself too much with it because I finally had the option to have Liberty move in, which was very cool because I was able to also steal her fun. Yes, more money. Good. Very good. Also, something that can happen is a trash plant can grow outside on its own if there is trash outside that doesn't get cleaned up. Now, I did try to figure out if there's any specific way that you can get rid of it, but the sim itself will just kind of take care of it. So what I had to do was go into my actual editing and sell it. I will have a big problem with them later on that I never bring up, but man, these freaking plants suck. Kind of cool, I guess, that they can happen, but I also don't like it. For some odd reason, Jonathan got an incoming text from Travis Scott. From last time I checked, that's not Travis Scott, but okay. Also, he has kind of accumulated even more money after taking Liberty's funds, so I decided to purchase the Ghost Rider disappearing desktop. It never disappears, but maybe the Ghost Rider idea of it makes sense. It was quite a lot of money though. From there, I also noticed that he has 0 days until he becomes an adult, which made me panic because the faster that he ages up, the closer he is to death, which I will not allow. But I feel like it is time to start getting those babies created because those 26 generations are not gonna get themselves done on its own. And honestly, it was pretty easy. All you have to interact with is like a bed. Tell them to try for a baby. They do it really fast if you're sped up. Fireworks shoot up into the sky and you can just wait. Or something that I did learn super late inside of the game is going over to a toilet and then just seeing with a pregnancy test if you are pregnant. That is going to tell you that you're pregnant faster. But for now, I just had them wait to see if Liberty is 100% pregnant. From there, I made some house upgrades like getting a dining table, mixology thing so that I could get the mixology skill up at some stage. Jonathan kept on getting really angry every single time he wrote his books, which I didn't really understand why that was happening, but turns out he really doesn't like writing books. So this was one of the only skills that I think he ever had any issues with. I don't really understand why he doesn't like it, especially since, again, every other skill that he has ever done he really enjoyed, but this one he just had something super against writing books. So it was a bit of a painful process to get through because every single time he started writing, he just kind of almost stopped just as fast as he started, just because he was like, nope, I want to do something else right now because I'm pissed off. Also, Liberty is in fact pregnant, which to no surprise, so that's pretty cool. I'll be able to start generation number 1, and Jonathan has made enough progress to get to the last aspiration section, which requires him to get level 10 writing, have 3 bestsellers, and make 25,000 royalty. 25,000 royalties is kind of a long one, so that took me quite some time to complete if I don't bring it up again. Jonathan aged up and became an adult. He's still a bit chunky, nothing changed after that. Then I gave him the creative visionary reward for 2,000 points, which will allow him to have a higher chance of paintings and his writing to become masterworks, which again is needed for his aspiration and also to make more money. And I learned that these rewards are traits, so they go into the trait section of the game, and there's a whole bunch of them that you can get, so you can have like Sims with way too many traits, which I guess one of them is for a trophy, so that's going to be pretty cool and I hope easy because these points are not that difficult to collect. And because I had some points left over, I gave him the morning and night owl traits, which will allow him to get skill progress more at night or in the mornings, which I do kind of have him sleeping as little as possible so that he can get onto those as fast as possible, which will work out very well. The baby ended up coming around very fast, which is really cool. It doesn't take too long, and I kind of called it Janelle, which if you have seen my original Sims 3 on the 360 video, Janelle was Jonathan's wife in that game. Is it weird that I called the child Janelle? I kind of want to honor some of the past Sims that I've had, so you know what? Let's just go with it. But I don't think it's weird. It's not the same Jonathan, but what if it is? Why does a baby look like that inside of this game? They look terrifying. They are some ugly ass alien looking things, and it never gets old every single time I look at them. They're just so weird and ugly. Funny thing is I can also like pick up the baby and move it around, so I had a little bit of fun with that. Another nice option is if you have a baby or whatever you call this, like a newborn, you can actually age it up really fast without a birthday cake. So I aged it up because screw that, I don't want to be taking care of this kind of a baby. It feels like way too much responsibility. From there I also made a room specifically for the baby, just so that, you know, it could have a place that it just has like with toys and other stuff, so that, you know, they can take care of it easier. From there, Janelle was watching her pissed off dad write some books. Look at how they're bonding, super cute. Liberty aged up to an adult, and I had Jonathan fight through the anger of writing those books until boom, literal genius trophy is finally unlocked. This one took quite some time, but you know what? I'll take it. Thank God. No more writing for you, Jonathan, at least for now. Still need that 25,000 in royalties though. He'll get it. Hopefully fast. Now after this, I did have a quick look at the trophies again, and I discovered that there is a trophy that requires your sim to go from max fat to max thin, which turns out that there are specific trophies that allow you to do instant lean and, well, instant large. So I decided to purchase those, and the first one that I did was instant large, which kind of made me realize that Jonathan was in fact not fat. He was just slightly tubby, which is okay because everyone can be tubby. But then I went to instant lean, and oh my god, maybe he was slightly fat. I don't really know. But I got the trophy, you know? That's cool. Turns out you can actually get some of these trophies relatively easy and relatively fast. Not all of them are skills and jobs, but most of them are skills and jobs. Very weird platinum, if I'll be honest. Since I got the writing skill done, the next one that I wanted to concentrate on was the crafting one, since I do just have this crafting table chilling around here, and I kind of want to get rid of it because I don't really like the way it looks here. And overall, I would like to kind of design this house a bit better after most of these skills are done, so the faster I get through them, the better. And something I finally decided to do was start making progress on the careers, and that was with the athletic career for Liberty, because she does in fact like fitness, and I kind of don't want her to be a barista all the time, so I got her up for that, and hopefully she gets level 10. Now for each job, they do have obviously your normal subsection of get this skill to this certain level to get the next promotion, but also each day they have a daily task, which was actually one of the reasons why I struggled the most to get level 10 most of the time, and why it took me forever, because no matter if you got those done, there's another thing that can sometimes happen, and that is a certain objective that can pop up that is like, this certain thing is happening at this certain job. What do you think your sim should do? And there's a correct answer and an incorrect answer. The amount of times that I thought that a certain answer was the correct answer and it turned out to be the wrong answer pissed me off, because the amount of times that happened and the amount of times I lost progress on making good progress to get that freaking promotion was just infuriating. And don't even get me started on the days that your sims have to work. Oh my god, some of them suck. The higher of levels that you get, the less work time that they get, which I get it. Then you have the opportunity to have your sim get your other skills leveled up. But what if I have all those skills done? I'm getting a bit too ahead of myself. That's a future problem to worry about. But yeah, Liberty, good luck. Hopefully get to level 10. Also, from there I realized that Jonathan has level 8 out of 10 for cooking, so that was pretty close to getting that done. And Janelle officially had her first birthday. You kind of get some options whenever they edge up to this. They're not a child yet, so it's kind of like the in-between thing, but you can also choose their aspirations that then will help out with their future aspirations, the amount of points that they have, and potentially how much skills they will also get, and also what rates they will also get, which I kind of concentrated with Janelle on, at least in the beginning, because I was like, oh, this is kind of cool and different. But honestly, the more generations that you get, the less you care about your sims. If I'll be completely honest, I could care less about the kids that Jonathan, or at least his great grandchildren that he has. But I will give it to the game. It's definitely more unique and interesting the way they went about with the aging up inside of this game than it was in the past. So that is another kind of like, hey, that's a cool upgrade. Also, I finally got the option to do a private wedding. Well, the option was always there, I just didn't know where it was. Liberty and Jonathan are officially married. Yippee! Nothing special happened, but it's the first wife out of 5 wives that have to die, or well, spouses. They don't have to specifically be wives. Also, something funny, Jonathan is classified as stay-at-home dad. since, you know, Liberty is the one bringing most of the money in right now. Speaking of money and Liberty, she did get her promotion, which was pretty cool. There's quite a lot of promotions that you have to progress through. Also upgraded her bathroom since it felt a bit empty and I kind of wanted to start enhancing some of the rooms inside of this house, which again is some of the things that I want to try to mess around more inside of this game with. Got them a mirror because Liberty needs to level up her charisma skill, which is, I think, in my opinion, the best way to get that skill up as fast as possible. And I think that started to work because she kind of came back looking like this. I think it's always so funny that in Sims games, whenever your Sims get a promotion or whatever, they always just tend to have different outfits. I didn't really experience this kind of outfit usage, but I do approve of this. Also, Jonathan finally got the 25,000 from the book selling, so that means I can move on to the last aspiration in the creative side of aspirations, if that makes sense, and it is the musical genius one, which means that I just have to do a lot of music stuff. Now the challenges weren't too difficult, and there is a trophy where you need to listen to all music channels and watch all TV channels, which I didn't know that there's like other steps that you have to do that I will be getting onto soon. So I started listening to some music with Jonathan, and one of the cool things is there's actually like OG retro Sims 1 to Sims 2 I think music playing, and maybe even Sims 3. Sometimes it's difficult for me to tell the difference between them because they're also nostalgic, but I do also really like that edition, and it was kind of nice to listen through all of them, especially since, you know, there was different themes and different sounds, and I think that was definitely a fun challenge. But unfortunately I wasn't actually able to do it. By that I mean I wasn't able to get that trophy where I have to listen to every single channel and watch every single TV, because I do need to level up a specific TV and a specific radio, and you do need to have a pretty high level in your handiness, which I do not, unfortunately. Also, when I said that Jonathan was just working on cooking and gourmet cooking on the side, finally got level 10 40 cooking skill, and that allowed me to get the tungsten chef trophy, so that's really nice to see and one out of the way. And since I'm kind of far away from the handiness skill, I just went back and concentrated on the aspiration, which required Jonathan to write 4 songs, which is also a bit of a complicated situation because the actual challenge doesn't specify what you're supposed to do for this. Every single guide online was like, oh yeah, you just need to go up to an instrument, and when you do that you get the option to write at it, but that's not true. You need to actually get level 6 with that specific instrument because each instrument has its own skill level. So I decided to concentrate on the violin, and I will not be able to do that until I get level 8 with that actual instrument. After that, Janelle also grew up, which now means she can have aspirations. I decided to go for WizKid and Genius because I kind of wanted to honor Janelle, the old Janelle. And aside from that, it was just progress on the violin for Jonathan, Janelle to, you know, become a top student, and also Liberty finally got a promotion that is kind of interesting with each job. Each one of these jobs has a section of a specific level. It kind of differentiates between all of them, where you will be allowed to choose between 2 different options that can vary in the amount of money your sim starts making and also the hours that they receive. And so for that, I decided to go with professional athlete because it paid more. Speaking of money, I do actually have a good bit of it, so I decided to invest in a spaceship because there is a woohoo inside of a spaceship trophy, and of course I want to try to do that. And also because the spaceship will allow me to make progress in a different skill, which is the like space science skill, which is also going to be important for the future for the astronaut job. Again, it's a lot of multitasking. Definitely not the best idea to be going for the skills first, but it is kind of going to work out in the future. Just going to make my life a bit more miserable. So again, if you are planning to do this, do not only concentrate on the skills, do work as well while you concentrate on the skills. In between the more interesting stuff happening, a burglar showed up, and unfortunately the treadmill got stolen, so there goes the treadmill. I guess I have to invest in a new one. Also finally got level 9 handiness, which means I was able to upgrade all of those things that I told you about before, to listen to those specific channels and watch those specific channels. So for this I need specifically the Landlord Whisperer radio and the Supervision TV, and then upgrade them both with the Super Reception so that they'll be able to pick up the more unique stuff around the place. To do this, I did actually need parts which you are able to order from a computer, so that was pretty cool. And I like how in this game your sim doesn't actually have to go for that stuff, it just instantly gets put into their inventory, which in the past Sims games, at least on the 360, you had to have your sim go to that specific location and then order those stuff, whereas in this it just shows up, and that I definitely do approve of that. And then from there I just had him listen to multiple stuff and watch all of the channels, and there we go, Channel Surfer trophy is achieved, another one down, so many more to go. And since he was already at level 9 with the handiness skill, I just pushed him a bit more, and he got the Beyond Repairs trophy for getting level 10 on that skill. Also, side note, I finally got level 8 on the violin, which allowed me to write stuff, but the reason I was actually able to get this level was because I discovered a specific reward trait for 4,000 points that I feel like I should have invested way longer ago, because I thought this actually didn't exist, but I'm specifically talking about the savant trait. Essentially essentially it allows you to level up your skills much faster when you have this trait on your sim. And I only thought that the night owl and the morning thing that I got earlier was the only option that you had to get your skills up faster, but you can actually combine it with this one, which was huge help, but it did cost quite a lot. But you know what, I did not regret this bad boy once, especially since now I can actually make progress on the aspiration and level up the violin even to level 10 by doing the stuff that I'll be doing now. Now actually writing the songs for some odd reason took absolutely forever. He got distracted a lot, especially since right now I don't have the specific traits that will get rid of a lot of the needs. So he started to go use the bathroom, had to go to sleep, had to eat food, and so on and so forth, which did make this one a tiny bit more dreadful, but through a lot of trial and error he was able to finally write them, and that allowed me to make more progress on the actual writing of the songs. And because of writing all of those songs and making progress in that aspiration, I got the Bodacious trophy, which was for level 10 on the violin. 1 instrument down, 2 more to go. And the one that I decided to go for was the piano, which is actually kind of huge. I wasn't expecting it to be this size, and it's definitely taking up way more space than I was expecting, but you know what, it'll do just for now. I might make some upgrades soon, potentially, especially since the money is kind of coming in faster from licensing these songs for the aspiration, and Liberty actually not doing the worst at her job right now. Now for the last aspiration section, it's kind of cool because it keeps the progress from your previous like violinist or whatever you made progress on to go into this aspiration as well. So like the amount of time that I've played the instrument has already tracked, but I also have to mentor a sim for 3 hours. Now this was a bit of a disaster because I accidentally actually ordered a violinist instead of mentoring a person. I don't really know how this happened. He just kind of showed up and wanted to, you know, play the violin for Jonathan and Liberty, but I didn't really want that to happen. It was kind of a waste of money, but whatever, we move on. And because of doing that and completing the 3 hours and completing that aspiration, for each one of these aspirations you do also unlock a trait, which I probably should have mentioned because I got the most interesting sim in the world trophy, which was for obtaining 12 traits on 1 sim through 1 playthrough, which of course is on Jonathan. Now every single time I do complete these aspirations again, I just got a trait that helps me out with stuff. Now the musical one I don't really care about. I guess it'll help out with the future instruments like the piano and the guitar that I still have to get onto, but overall I don't really care for this one. I do appreciate that I was actually able to get this trophy. It was one that I was slightly confused as to how I was actually going to get, but since you do get aspiration traits, it wasn't too difficult. Since the creative aspiration was completely done, I decided to move on to the athletic one just because there's only 1 section in this and it shouldn't be too difficult. Honestly, the first challenge was super easy, then the next one's super easy, then the next one's super easy, so on and so forth. The main thing is it's just kind of time consuming, but it is very doable, and it would allow Jonathan to not become Mr. Tubbs again, which I don't really want to see, but you know, might as well get him ripped, see what he looks like. If he does get ripped, I think he'll have to get ripped. And also on top of that, it allows me to make progress on the athletic skill, which is definitely always welcome in my opinion. As he was making progress on that, I got the Connoisseur Rex trophy, which was for level 10 in the gourmet cooking skill. Again, just kind of happened. I told him sometimes to make a gourmet meal, but most of the time it was just depending on whatever Jonathan wanted to cook at the time. The last section of the actual athletic aspiration was a bit confusing because I need to have my sim reach maximum body potential, which there was some guides out there specifically telling you that you can like drink a protein shake or so on and so forth, but I just decided to push my sim, or at least Jonathan, as much as I could to see if it'll pop. The main reason I actually wanted this to happen is because I will be able to get enough points to then purchase a trait that I'm super excited to finally get onto Jonathan because it will make my life so much easier, especially with this trait hunting, and that is the Never Weary trait, which will allow for Jonathan to basically never have to sleep, which is like one of the worst things, especially whenever he's working out. He always gets tired and he has to go to sleep and so on and so forth. It's definitely more annoying than like having to eat food or using the bathroom or having a social life or even needing to be clean. The sleeping one is just a huge disadvantage in my opinion. Now from there, it was just a lot of Jonathan working out. Liberty got a promotion, realized I had a toddler bed for Janelle this whole time and she's a child so she couldn't sleep in that. That felt a bit mean. Then he reached his max potential after some time, which was really cool, and that meant that he was indeed pretty ripped. Made some solid progress on Janelle's overall aspiration to the point where I even got it completed, and there we go. She has reached her teen potential, or at least she's a teen, which means she is one like phase off of being a young adult, which will mean that I'll be able to fully start my 26th generation grind at some stage. And for now, I am aging her up with the natural like parts of the game, but in the future, birthday cakes are going to be my best friend, and I will not have my Sims get pregnant because that does take forever, and I'll just be going through the adoption route. It is honestly the fastest way to get through those like 26 generations. Well, as fast as possible. After some time, Jonathan finally got the level 10 bodybuilding trophy, which was fired up, and I was able to get the trait that I told you about after grinding for countless hours. So my boy will never have to sleep again. Now, since that aspiration was completed, the next one that I wanted to concentrate on was the nature aspiration, which has 3 subsections, from fishing to gardening and then lastly collecting stuff. This one is definitely a tiny bit more challenging, especially in some of these areas, so it's gonna take me quite a while for the rest of this video to get through these, so I will be kind of multitasking them here and there, which I will be bringing them up every so often, but not as often as it did take me to get these done. So it's definitely not an aspiration section that I would recommend for you to complete, especially since these are really tedious to get through. Before I moved on to the first aspiration, which was the fishing one, I wanted to just get the rocket ship fully completed, and while Jonathan was doing that, because he has the never weary trait, I got the 24 hours of staying up trophy, which is the all-nighter one, so that was pretty easy, especially since I got the trait. But I'm kind of curious how difficult this would have been if I never got it, and I probably should have tried to do that because I would have loved to see if Jonathan would have just got completely knocked out before the 24-hour mark or not. Now, since the rocket ship was finally completed, I got both Liberty and Jonathan to go up into the sky and woohoo, which got me the 50-mile high club, and right now I am on a trophy roll. Now, since I did get that trophy and the rocket ship is completed, I was kind of intrigued by the whole idea of exploring space, so I did end up putting that whole aspiration stuff to the side and decided to have Jonathan just go out and explore the planets. Now, at first I was very impressed by the little story missions that you get whenever you go to space, which I shortly after this did realize that they just kind of pop up each time that you go to space. And overall, the whole goal was to level up the space skill just so that I could get the space overall thing done, and then maybe even sell the rocket ship because it does take up a lot of space. And I'm really tempted to start expanding the house and also trying to start a garden just for that gardening aspiration at some stage whenever I get around to that. Now, one of the best things that he did find was a space fruit, which will come in super handy when I do start the gardening stuff with Jonathan, especially since the space plants make an insane amount of money. But there we go, it's not brain surgery trophy for level 10 with the space skill. And since that was done, I was able to sell the spaceship and start customizing the house, make it a bit bigger and allow for more Sims to start joining in and not being as cramped, especially since Janelle is probably going to become a young adult anytime now and allow me to start adopting at some stage. This did take me quite some time, and honestly I didn't really like the way it turned out, but I'll take it, especially since this is a grind for the platinum. It's not really a house that I care all that much about. I did try to make it as appealing as possible. I had like the kids room that Janelle had just stayed a kids room. I added another bedroom and moved overall Jonathan and Janelle's bedroom to a different place, kept the bathroom in the same location, and added like a skill room just to have a place with the piano since it is so big. And yeah, that was kind of it. Overall, not the best, not the worst, and throughout the playthrough it just kind of like improves but also gets worse. You'll just have to wait and see. After that was completed, I had Jonathan finally go back to the fishing side of stuff so that we can make progress on the fishing skill for that level 10 trophy, but also to get this aspiration done and out of the way. One of the aspirations did have me to mount or bowl 5 fish, which I had no idea what that was, but through some trial and error I discovered by just simply going into your inventory and interacting with the fish itself, you can actually just turn them into a mount, so you don't even have to put it up on a wall. And honestly, overall the first aspiration stuff for the fishing one wasn't anything too difficult and was pretty easy to get through them and actually kind of fun, especially since I was just watching Jonathan fish. I wasn't really doing all that much. Now, as for the last aspiration challenge, this one kind of sucks. Like, not just kind of, it really sucks, and I really didn't like it because you need to find 20 variations of fish, which is essentially kind of all of them, or at least most of them, and catching different versions of fish is actually kind of more difficult, and I don't understand it even to this day. It depends on what fishing bait you use, the locations you go fishing, and I did manage to get 11 of them in the overall house area, but I had to start exploring and going to different locations so that I could try to find the different versions of them. While that happened, I found out that Jonathan was about to age up, which I really didn't want to happen because he was gonna go into an elder since he's already an adult. We don't want Jonathan to die, especially since he still has a lot of like skills that probably are not gonna work out very well for an elder, and even the job do take them out and make them like way more tired than they should be. I do not want Jonathan to age up. And you might be like, but hey, you could have used your other Sims that you get throughout your 26 generations. Right now, Jonathan is a beast. He has leveled up his skills an insane amount, and he is the prime version of a Sim to get the jobs done, which yes, I should have multitasked him with other ones, but hell no. Jonathan gotta live on and complete everything on his own. There we go. 42 more days for him left. I give him the potion of youth, which basically just resets his overall like specific age that he's at. So I think if you're an elder and you use the potion of youth, it just resets the other one. It won't actually make your sim younger, which is a bit of a shame. Now back onto the fishing stuff, it was taking me so long to find all of them that I managed to get up to level 10 with the fishing skill and got me the castaway trophy. And overall, I was able to only get 13 out of 20 after pouring in actual in real life good few hours to try to find all of them. It got to the point where I felt like it was kind of useless to keep going with the fishing one since I don't really understand it even from looking it up online, and I didn't really feel motivated to keep going, so I decided to go over to the gardening aspiration, especially since I'll be able to make progress on another skill for another trophy. Now gardening I think is actually one of my favorite things that I ended up doing inside of this game, especially since it can make you quite a lot of money, like a lot of freaking money. So for this one I just got the normal gardening like crop pot thingies just so I could go over and have them in a secluded area so that it wouldn't be like growing or whatever. I don't know, you can plant them on normal land, I just didn't want to do that. I planted some of the UFO plants, an apple tree, and some other seeds that I ended up buying. While I was doing that, I decided I actually just wanted to speed up Janelle's aging up because I wanted her to get to that young adult as fast as possible now, because I actually looked at how many careers I have to complete, and especially since Liberty is taking her damn sweet time in that goddamn athletic career, might as well try to see if Janelle could move on to one of them even if she doesn't have any progress on any of the skills for now. And because of that, I actually got the old and wiser trophy, which was just for aging up a sim, which you think that would count for a sim aging up on their own, but no, you have to specifically age them up through the process of a birthday cake. But you know what, I'll take it. And since now she's a young adult, I instantly got her into the entertainer career because it felt like it's kind of more unique and different. I kind of considered her going into the business one, but why not? You might as well go into the entertainer one for now. Since the gardening skill does take quite some time to level up, since you have to wait every single day for the plants to grow, I wasn't actually able to just dedicate my all with Jonathan to this skill, so I decided to have him concentrating on the programming skill, which is just at the computer and you just tell him to program stuff, just because why not? Might as well multitask multiple skills and multiple jobs, or at least try to multitask multiple jobs. It's easier to multitask multiple skills than jobs. And while all of that was happening, unfortunately, Liberty aged up and now she is officially an elder, which makes stuff very difficult, especially since her job requires her not only level up her fitness skill way more, her charisma skill, but overall she has to do also workouts every single day. And you know, her overall career involves athletic stuff, which she's an elder. This is gonna go great. She's definitely gonna hit level 10. Now, I won't be really upset with her dying, which I know that sounds bad, but I do need to woohoo with a ghost. Since Jonathan has a relationship with her, you know, why not? While all of that was happening, I got the Code Monk trophy, which was for level 10 in coding / programming. That kind of happened fast. You go, Jonathan. Those freaking traits are really helpful, aren't they? And because of that, might as well move on to the gaming one, since he's already at the computer and got that one done very fast. He'll probably get the gaming one done very fast. Now, since in between all of this happening, there was like a lot of stuff that I just didn't take down, something came to me that might make my life a tiny bit easier, and that is to get gardening and fishing books, because I remember in Sims 3 at least, if you get those books, you are able to learn how to catch basically all fish types, or how to plant every single version of a plant, or how to become a better planter, which with the gardening skill, it's not too difficult to plant a specific thing. Honestly, the main thing that you just have to look out for is that you are watering them every day, weeding them, and just making sure they're top notch. But maybe if I do get all the fishing ones, this could help out Jonathan to try to find all of those 20 fish to get that aspiration done, because it's still kind of annoying me that I didn't finish that one completely and just moved on instead of finishing it. So I got the books for gardening and fishing and read through them, and this actually allowed me to go out and fish, and I caught 15 out of the 20, so he managed to find 2 more than before, which was definitely a huge plus. And that means that kind of worked out in a way, or he just got super lucky and finally found 2 other ones after already pouring in countless hours and days into fishing before. Now, something random that does happen, or at least it happened right now for the first time, is remember when I told you that I got the Never Weary trait for Jonathan? Well, it turns out that for some odd reason it can kind of just stop working, so all of a sudden he still had to have sleep and decided to go to sleep. Now, I didn't actually write it in my notes, but the way I fixed this was just by completely saving and quitting my game and, you know, going to do something else, and then when I came back it just kind of turned off. So if this does happen to you, I don't really know why it happens. It seems to only happen with this one for me at least. It's just exit and go back in and hope that it works. There was one time where it didn't, but then I did it for a 3rd time and it did. I think it's a bit stupid, but you know, it's a Sims game. They're super buggy. It's kind of what they do. Aside from that, he kept on fishing and got up to 17 out of 20 of them, which means that there's only 3 more more different ones that he needs to catch for this to fully finish and get this aspiration done. So I was very locked in and really tried hard to find out where I could find other fish. Turns out there's actually a very hidden location, which is something I do remember because I did watch a lot of people playing in the past Sims 4. I never really fully played it. I like content creators that I like to watch. And one of the things that I do remember, hidden locations existing in this game, but this one I actually had no idea about. Now the specific place that I'm talking about is called the Grotto, and the way you do this is by making your way over to the Desert Bloom Park in the Oasis map world, whatever you want to call it, which may I just say, I had no idea I was actually able to go to different locations like this. I thought I was just stuck in the like default creek area or whatever it's called, that first one that I chose. That's kind of cool. Anyway, by going here and having the level 10 handiness skill, I was able to go off to this cave that is blocked off by wood and then taking off the wood with the level 10 skill. From here, you get options of choosing what to do whenever he goes in. It's like a mini story. I told him to explore, go through a wide path, climb a ladder, keep climbing, and that turned out that that was actually not the correct option, but by redoing everything, changing the option of keep climbing, he was able to travel to the grotto, which is just a cave. Why am I in this cave, you may be asking? Well, it's for a specific fish, which is the batfish. Now I know I still need 2 others after this one is caught, but still, that is 1 out of the 3 that I still need, and I'm gonna take that because I am going insane with this freaking fishing aspiration. But there we go. 18 out of 20. Now while he was here, I did kind of push him a bit more to keep fishing here just in case if there was something else that I didn't have, and he managed to get 19 out of 20. But unfortunately, this isn't the part where he completes it, and he had to go back because he was kind of, you know, hungry, tired, or whatever. We'll catch that one at some stage, I promise. I'm very devoted to getting this one done. Back with the other 2 Sims that I have that I kind of barely talk about is Janelle was able to get a promotion, which allowed me to choose between the comedian or musician promotion, which is similar to the one with the athletic, and I decided to go with the comedian one because I don't really care, not even about the hours or money, just something for it to do, I guess. And just when Jonathan had all of his stuff fully back up, all of his needs weren't as bad as they were, I decided to have him go back to the grotto and we went fishing. Ladies and gentlemen, he completed it. My full devotion worked out, and for this, not only did I complete this aspiration, but also I got the overachiever trophy, which was for completing 5 aspirations, which I had no idea this was how it worked. The way I assumed that these aspirations were going to be working was by completing the overall top bits, which kind of does seem insane now that I think about it. It makes more sense that they mean the subsections also count as overall aspiration bits, but it is also kind of confusing, so you can understand, or at least hopefully see, why I was very surprised as to how I completed all of the 5 aspirations for this trophy and I just completed like subsections of the overall aspirations. Messy, but I'll take it. Thank God. I'll still kind of keep going with these aspirations though. I do like the reward system that they have in this game, and having the ability of getting rid of a lot of needs or de-aging Jonathan is always welcome. And I guess you could kind of count it towards the 100%ing of the game, kind of. Now I was really debating as to which aspiration I should go for next. I decided to go for the mixology one just because I can get through the mixology skill as well, but that wasn't gonna work out because you had to actually go into the culinary career at one stage, so I decided to not go for that one. Then I decided to go for the gardening aspiration again, just because why not? And by completing some overall like wishes or whatever you want to call them, which meant I was able to get the need no one trait, which allows him to never need socializing, which was actually one of the more annoying parts of the needs. I know I said the sleeping one is the most annoying, but the fact that he still needed to constantly socialize with Sims every single time he went out and did his own thing was very tedious and frustrating. So getting this one out of the way was a huge help and very welcome. Also from here I got the games within games trophy, which was for level 10 of gaming. From there Liberty died, and the way she died was I kind of kept on pushing her to try to finish her job, which might have not been the best idea because she died. Now for this, I did get the ghostly trophy, which was pretty cool, but that means that she never finished her job. So Jonathan, you have another one added on to what I was hoping you would not have to do, but whatever, we'll get through them at some stage, I guess. After that, I got the Splice of Life trophy, which was for grafting 2 plants together, since I'm still working on the gardening with Jonathan, and this one is super easy. All you have to do is take off a slice of one plant and then graft it with another one. So if you ever want to do this trophy, you might as well do it because it's super easy. And since Liberty is now a ghost, it reminded me that I have to do something very fun with Jonathan and Liberty, and that is of course woohooing, which got me what would it be like trophy. From from there, it was a lot of gardening and just a lot of time consuming stuff by just constantly trying to concentrate at it, because there's one aspiration bit that has me to evolve 5 plants, and the way you evolve them is just have them long enough, take care of them long enough, and then they'll have these like sparks around them, which allows you to then specifically evolve them to get onto like a different rarity level, which produces better plants and then lets you sell them for more or just harvest them for better stuff. This is the point where I fully realized how much money you can actually make from selling, because I started racking up money like crazy by doing that. And one of the aspirations now requires me to get a cow plant, which there are different ways that you can do this. You can either go into space, which no space on the actual ground, haha, no pun intended, make a rocket ship to fly up to space to look for this random cow plant. But there is also a different way of splicing plants together, and that is more specifically having a snapdragon plant, cutting it and mixing it with a strawberry plant, which then gives you a dragon fruit that then you get the seed of that dragon fruit, grow it, graft it with a snapdragon again, so that dragon fruit is grafted with a snapdragon, and then from there you have a random chance of growing a cow plant seed. Might as well see if I can do that, because I do have a snapdragon and a strawberry, so let's see what happens. While I did that, I got the tender loving trophy for getting level 10 in mixology, since I was working away at that, and finally decided to go to the piano to get through that skill and get that done, because I kind of did postpone it for now. Also, Janelle is getting a bit older. She's probably going to become an adult soon, and then, you know, sooner or later she's going to become an elder, so I might as well start making official progress on the 26 generations, or at least the 25 generations from now on. So I decided to adopt a child, which is the oldest version of like a person you can adopt. I was already hoping that you could get a teen, but you know what, a child isn't the worst. The reason I want to get a child is because then I can age up that child to a teen as fast as possible with a birthday cake, and then that teen up to a young adult, and then adopt, and so on and so forth. Now, since there is 26 of them altogether that you need to get through, it's not something that I'm going to concentrate fully, but having a person adopted and just having them in the background and taking care of themselves, since I do have Sims taking care of themselves overall, will definitely help out in the progress of, okay, now I want to age you up more so that I could get another Sim, especially since there is a max of 8 Sims overall that you can have inside of a household. I decided to go for Aaron because he kind of looked cool, so there he is, and I wanted to age him up so that he could become an adult, to be even more like taking care of himself and not worrying about him, you know, getting taken away by the government. But for some odd reason, I had this weird bug, at least this one time, where for some odd reason, every single time I tried to put birthday candles on a birthday cake, which I will be getting onto in a while because I have some huge complaints with this design, I couldn't put the birthday candles on the birthday cake. Like, no matter what I did, I was just not able to do it. It just kept on saying it has to be in the middle of a table or whatever, and it just wasn't working. Now, going back to the birthday cake overall, I absolutely despise, and I need to say it, I despise the new system that they have inside of Sims 4. The fact that you have to make the birthday cake yourself and then put the candles on yourself is an awful design. Not only do you have to waste time of a Sim to cook the birthday cake, but the second they put it on a table, you have to be as fast as freaking possible to put candles on that thing so somebody doesn't take a slice of it, because when they take a slice of it, that birthday cake or just that cake is now just a normal cake and you can't do anything with it. And I hated this because I really wanted to just have a birthday cake that could just remain a birthday cake and not have to be worried that every single time I told, let's say, Jonathan to bake it, that it will be destroyed within a few seconds because of some freaking other Sim that is in this huge household and takes a slice of it. Stupid design, stupid. I preferred when I could just buy the birthday cake and it was a birthday cake. I hate it. It really pissed me off, like really pissed me off. Such a small thing, but so annoying. In other news, I got the Ivory Tower trophy for level 10 with the piano, so there we go. Next up, I'm gonna do the guitar. Another thing that's pretty good, it's kind of working out the progress towards the cow plant. I managed to get a dragon fruit, which kind of caught me off guard. I didn't think that it was gonna work out, especially since I kept on looking at the plants and nothing was growing, but there we go, dragon fruit is obtained. And I also unlocked Supercell ability, which I was so excited for because you had to get to a specific level in the gardening skill, and I was like, wow, Supercell, it will allow me to sell all of these plants for so much more money. But no, turns out that Supercell is just like sell most of the plants that are around in the area, which is still pretty cool because again, I can make a whole bunch of money. But I was really kind of anticipating and hoping that, hey, you'll make more money with this Supercell ability, not, hey, you'll be able to just sell like up to 5 plants on both sides, or 4 depending on where you decide to, you know, sell sell them from. Still a welcome thing, especially since, you know, I was able to build up the money like crazy, but a bit disappointing. Why call it supercell? Just sell all ability. There we go. Way better than supercell. From there, it was just a lot of gardening, a lot of guitaring. The dragon fruit took absolutely forever to grow. Decided to graft it with the snapdragon after it was completed, which means that this plant should theoretically grow the cow plant seed. Finally got level 10 on the guitar, so there we go. Meal strum trophy is obtained. After that, decided to concentrate on the logic skill, which is like one of the skills that I feel like I should be concentrating on, or should have done before with the charisma one, since they're the kind of default skills in the games. There we go. Elementary trophy for level 10 with logic. Not gonna lie, probably the easiest skill that I leveled up. Next up, charisma skill, just cause why not. Notice that Jonathan was getting a bit tubby once again, since, you know, his working out days are no more for now. And after that, after countless hours of in-game time and in real life time, I finally got the green thumb trophy, which was for level 10 in gardening. And you know what, it took me forever, but it was still kind of fun and enjoyable, especially since the amount of money that I was able to make. On the side, Aaron grew up to a teen, so there's progress on that, especially since I wasn't able to use that birthday cake. Since the gardening did make all of that bank, I decided to upgrade their kitchen into more expensive stuff, just so, you know, doesn't break as easily, or at least hopefully doesn't break as easily. And there we go. Finally, after a really long time, the cow plant grew, or at least the cow plant berry that I was able to plant. And then after a while, it will grow into this, you know, cute little big thing. But for now, look at this little guy. At the time when I wrote this in my notes, I had no idea you could actually name the plant, because yeah, you can name the plant whenever it fully grows, but I decided to call it Jonathan Jr. You know, it's only appropriate. He poured in so much work and so much time into hoping that it grew. But there it is, just small, so cute. Oh, also got the Smooth Talker trophy, which was for level 10 charisma. Getting these skills out of the way like crazy. And ladies and gentlemen, we have been here for a good amount of time. If you've watched this far, you've been here for a while. But we have finally got to the point of the video where I decided to get Jonathan into the career world. That's right, I feel like he has leveled up his skills enough, or at least did he not do all of them? Wait, at least every single skill that is important for his job. And for the first one I decided to go for was the astronaut one. And from here, there is still a lot that happens, but when I got to these jobs, my god, did this take forever. Each one of them as tedious as the next one. There's only one of them that I will bring up that I didn't mind, but these first ones, they sucked. Not only do you have to start from level 1 and then work your way up and complete daily tasks, it was so tedious to get those promotions, but I did it because you're watching this video and we're here and I locked in. And you know what? As tedious as it was, I feel happy. Yeah. Also, no, he's not done with all of his skills. He still has to do the comedy and mischief one, but those don't feel necessary, at least for the jobs that I want to cover first. He'll need the comedy one for entertainer career, and he'll need the mischief one, mischief, whatever way you say it, for the criminal career. But for now, we're not going to be worrying about those, so it's okay. Oh, also, look, Cowberry, it's done. It's finished. He's big. Hell yeah. From there, I was writing my notes, the leveling up process. I got level 2 in the job, then I got level 3 in the job, then I got to level 4, got the gardening aspiration completed, found out you can milk Jonathan Jr., which makes sense because it is a cow, but it's so weird to say I can milk Jonathan Jr. No, that's just very weird. I'm not gonna say that again. And then I made the big discovery, something that would have made the astronaut career so much easier, at least easier to level up to level 10. Turns out there is 2 traits that you would want to get that help you out in leveling up your jobs and also starting super high, or at least at level 4 each time that you start a job, and that is entrepreneurial, which allows your sim to get promoted in a career way more faster, or at least way more likely, which it's a bit debatable if that's a thing that happened. But the other one is connections. Sims with connections start all careers several levels ahead, which is the best one. The fact that you get to start on level 4, oh, incredible. Unfortunately, didn't do it for the astronaut one, but I did it for future ones. And I gotta give a shout out to my beautiful fiance, who is a professional Sims 4 gamer, and she was able to give me this insight. Thank you. I love you. Now to get those, I do need more points. So since the gardening aspiration is essentially completed, I moved over to the last one in this area, which is the collectible one, just so I could get a tiny bit more points since these aren't too expensive, but they're not too cheap as well. Something I also found out is Jonathan is for some odd reason scared of Jonathan Jr. now, which is I guess a thing that happens when the cow plant swallows a sim, which did happen to Janelle. I never saw it happening to Jonathan, but that's a shame because I have to move him over somewhere else so that, you know, he doesn't bully or scare more people. Got level 6 in the job. Was contemplating if I should just completely sell Jonathan Jr. just because he's causing a lot of problems. And mainly because Jonathan went to his job once and he was scared or at least sad because he was swallowed by Jonathan Jr. or whatever. And that made him be tense and not make good progress at his job, which you want your Sims to have as best of a mood and experience as possible whenever they go into their job so that, you know, they get that promotion that same day. So it is really sad news to be telling you this, ladies and gentlemen, but unfortunately Jonathan Jr. has to do a bye-bye. It took me forever to unlock this bad boy, it took me forever to grow him, and it got me the aspiration completed, and it is really sad that you can't keep him around, but he is a menace to society and a menace to his father and his father's children and his wife or whatever, his ghost wife. So goodbye, we will miss you, Jonathan Jr. That kind of happened really fast. See ya, buddy. Oh, also Aaron is a young adult, so I had him to adopt because you know, more progress. Jonathan got to level 7 in the job. From there was like this plant that is really close to the house that I vaguely remember you were able to go through. So since Jonathan has the gardening skill up to level 10, I had him go up to it and look at it, take care of it, and then water it, which opened up a hole which allowed him to travel to the glade, which is like a very pink area. There was nothing really here. I was hoping that I maybe would be able to find some collectibles since I'm trying to make, you know, progress on that aspiration since I need reward points. There wasn't really anything here. Still pretty cool. Wonder how many other secret areas in the base game without DLC stuff there is. From there, Janelle finally became an elder, so it's good that we did get Aaron, just so you know, he was able to adopt a child finally. Also forgot to mention, her name is Mila. Don't really have to know much about these Sims. The most important is my boy Jonathan. From there, got the Rosebud trophy, which was for gaining 1 million simoleons in one household, which the only way that I was able to do that, not even because of the jobs, was honestly because of the gardening. Crazy amount of money. Was very frustrated because the promotion was taking its damn sweet time, like he just wouldn't make progress on it. I need to see a yellow tick and it just wasn't showing up. You know, he was super close, like super close. Come on, Jonathan, you can do it, you can do it. Oh, thank God. Level 8. Yeah, you probably thought it was gonna be like level 10. No. Level 8, 3-ish hours of real life playtime. This is going great. But hey, he gets a promotion choice now. Interstellar Smuggler or Space Ranger. Interstellar Smuggler. Hell yeah. Oh, and because of that, he has to do space missions, which means that we have to purchase a goddamn rocket ship again and rebuild it so that he can go up to space every single day after his job and then make progress on that daily task. This is what I'm talking about. It's so freaking tedious. Now, something that did happen was I kind of didn't keep track of Jonathan, and because I didn't keep track of Jonathan, he became an elder, which really complicated stuff. Like, really complicated stuff, especially since I killed Liberty. Well, no, sorry. She died. I didn't do that, okay? Definitely didn't force her to do a bunch of stuff. She died because I pushed her too much. And Jonathan, if he's an elder, he's just gonna become a ghost. Now, at the time, I didn't know that ghosts can still go to work and it really doesn't matter then, but I didn't want him to die. Now, thankfully, I did save not too long ago, which was one of the things I was trying to do every single hour, was just do a quick save just in case if the game crashes, because there's no autosave. The incredible thing is, I literally saved just before he went into like an elder. So I was able to buy that potion of youth and have him drink it. That was way too close. I can't have my boy die. Not yet anyway. Aside from that, got level 9 in the astronaut career. Janelle died, which I think happened because I forced her to do a lot of stuff, which was really bad because unfortunately that didn't pop a trophy that I was really hoping would pop when she dies, which is one where you have to have a sim from when it's born to when it dies of natural causes. And I guess she didn't die of natural causes. She died because she had to work when she was an elder. Another reason why I couldn't have Jonathan become one. But yeah, there we go. Another job for Jonathan to do. This is gonna take forever, won't it? After that, I decided to sell all of the plants because I'm really lazy at taking care of them, especially since I've now made concentration on Jonathan leveling up his job as much as possible. Got the Mischief Master trophy, which was for getting level 10 of the Mischief skill. And one that I didn't bring up that I did also complete was the Comedian trophy. So that one's also done. All skill trophies are officially completed and done. Thank God. There was this one part where I was very close to getting Jonathan to level 10. Like, he just needed the tiniest nudge to get to that level. He was getting closer and closer and more, and there we go. Level 10 is finally achieved. Stellar work trophy. Ooh, I think it was like 5 hours of playtime to get this bad boy from level 1 to level 10. So theoretically, if he starts on level 4 in the future, he'll be able to maybe cut that down to 3.5 to 4 hours, which, yeah, that kind of was the case. I think it even went over 5 hours for some of them because of how freaking annoying it was to promote. Anyway, after that, I had him quit and decided to wait a tiny bit just so I could get more points to get those traits that I did bring up, just so that it could start at those higher levels, because I didn't have enough for those just yet. I needed just one crystal so that I could get this freaking aspiration completed, and then I'll be able to move on from here. And there we go. So now for the next job, since Liberty did fail at this, I decided to have him go for the athletic career. This one's for you, Liberty. Again, the cool thing that happens now is he starts on level 4, so no more level 1 job progression, so this is going to be huge help. Also found out that by just going into other aspirations, I will be able to get a lot of points from them, because the aspirations do get completed on their own and they won't be completed until you actually equip them. So let's say there's one where I made progress on a different thing in the past, you will actually be able to make a lot of progress through those levels by just equipping them. So I was able to accumulate a lot of points, and found out there's one that's just the mansion baron one, which seemed pretty easy enough. It's just house related, so I decided to chip away at that aspiration as he was also leveling up his job, since I don't have any more skills to get through. Literally, the last trophies are kind of like really out there with the 26 generations or stuff that I'm just going to worry about in the future, and mainly for now the main concentration is realistically just career completing, getting that freaking level 10 as much as I can, because there's so many. Mila finally aged up to a young adult, which meant that I was able to adopt another person, which was called Urea, which if you're called Urea, I'm really sorry for what I'm about to say, but this is a very, very funny name. It's like I've never heard anyone called Urea, you know, urine and all of that kind of stuff. Also, since I got Urea, I kind of needed more space, so I decided to work on an upstairs, which went kind of awful. Like, I absolutely despise the way this turned out, but you know what? I just went with it. It's just a lot of space, and I didn't know how to fill up that space, which was the thing that I brought up earlier, where I'll expand the house and hope that I make it look better, but I was so far into playing this and still had so much time, even double the time left from what I did before. I was just not in the mood for this house. I wanted to get through those jobs as fast as possible. The most important thing is another bathroom and more sleeping areas, and also I guess some work progression that they'll be able to do. Now, one thing that I did do was get them a fireplace, which mightn't have been the best idea because Mila burned to death. What? It happened so fast. So she's a ghost now, and the way that I was able to, you know, not have any more of my Sims burned to death was upgraded enough so that it had like a safeguard and, you know, wouldn't burn my freaking Sims. I was stupid, but I guess that's one down. I'm okay with that. 26 generations. The best thing is I did get that child, so good thing that I, you know, had Mila adopt Urea. So Eureka! Hell yeah. From there, I had a very interesting bug happen, which I will give the game this one thing. There wasn't a lot of bugs happening, but this one was definitely the most unique one. Just had a lot of like stuff stacking for Jonathan. He just had a lot of tasks to do. The way that I fixed it was by resetting my game, but it's a bit of a weird one. The other ones that happen is, again, as I said, whereas needs that shouldn't be going down end up going down, and I guess, you know, the stacking stuff. And sometimes maybe he just wouldn't go to his job. You know, simple reset, problem solved. Then he got level 9, which means he's super close to level 10. But of course, it was taking absolutely forever. But through locking in and just sitting there and staring at the progress bar and doing his daily tasks, I got the trophy. World Competitor. Ugh. Next up, business career, which I gotta say, right off the bat, easiest career to level up. Like, oh my god, this was so fun because it was so easy. He had a normal work schedule, Monday to Friday, come to work, do one task, and then go to work every day at a reasonable time, and I flew through this one. Like, I flew through it so fast, and it was super easy, and unfortunately, it was the only job that actually was this easy. So, if you want an easy one, go for the business career. Now, one thing I did decide to do while Jonathan was doing the business career was have Liberty have another go at a job. Yes, I know she failed at one, but if she manages to level this one up, that's just another one that I can multitask. And the reason I decided to go for this one is because it is the culinary career, and Liberty has all of the stuff already leveled up that you need for this specific career. So this shouldn't be too hard, right? Wrong. She didn't do it. Spoiler, like she didn't do it. She never got to that level 10. It was super annoying, and mainly because every day she had to come back and cook food. And for some odd reason, when I told her to cook food, she was always tired. She's a freaking ghost. Why do ghosts have to sleep? I'm not gonna bring this up again. She failed miserably. Freaking out, Jonathan. You're gonna have to do everything, man. I even started her on level 4. Like, I even got the connections and the entrepreneurial freaking rewards. And still, she was really bad at it. But anyway, on the side note, he got the actual trophy for level 10 of the business, which was captain of the industry. Let's go. The next job that I'm gonna go for is the criminal one, just because I feel like if I get that one out of the way, I'll feel better about Jonathan, because he's supposed to be a good boy. He's not supposed to be a bad boy. Maybe this one will be fun though. Let's see. While that was happening, I was adopting a lot of people. I think it's Casey or whatever. I don't really know. Didn't keep track. Just grinding work for Liberty and Jonathan. Again, Liberty was going awful, but Jonathan wasn't. Kind of crazy that he already got through one job and Liberty is, you know, still struggling away at her culinary one while he's already making some solid progress in the freaking criminal career. Finally found out that I can put candles on birthday cakes, so I never had to worry about aging them up naturally, because I didn't really attempt the birthday cake thing until now. So I started making some solid progress on the generation side of stuff as well. Since I did have Casey, I decided to have her have a science baby, just because if I do this, theoretically this will be a child that is born from, like, you know, a young age, and then they become an adult and then die, hopefully of natural causes. Whatever sim that I adopt, I actually don't have them go to work or do anything really tedious or do anything that might get them killed. So hopefully that will allow this trophy to be completed. Fingers crossed. Also found out that Aaron is somehow dead. I have no idea how, but he's dead. Oh boy. And because finally, after this has happened, the Grim Reaper decided to chill around, which is something I never brought up, but there is a trophy to become good friends, or at least friends, with the Grim Reaper. And each time that I tried to have Jonathan do this, for some odd reason he was either scared of the Grim Reaper, which thankfully went away, or the Grim Reaper just like instantly went away after he came over to, you know, like put your sim into free roam or be playable or whatever, which is like the menu that pops up. And I was able to talk to him and become good friends, but unfortunately he had to go away. Now there is a thing that I discovered by myself, and I don't know if this is a strategy, but by simply going over to the relationships and constantly calling him and chatting to him, I was able to build up that friendship, which allowed me to get the Hello Darkness My Old Chum trophy for befriending the Grim Reaper. Pretty cool, pretty easy. Thankfully it worked out. I was kind of worried about this one. Also, since I was finally able to have Casey be a young adult and have the science baby, I got the Full House trophy for having a full household of 8 Sims, which is again the maximum amount of Sims that you can have. But I will be honest, at the time I had no idea. I didn't know that ghosts counted, and also I had no idea that it was 8 maximum. I was really hoping I could just have like 26 generations altogether, and this did kind of really complicate stuff, because the only way that I was able to then progress with more generations was waiting until the older generations were dying. So each time that I had a sim get adopted, I tried to get them into an elder as fast as possible, because I didn't really want to kill them by like having them swim forever or whatever. I still have to get through a lot of jobs, so it's not a really bad thing to have them slowly die, but I didn't want them as well to slowly age up to an elder. I just sped up the process usually by just getting them, you know, up to a birthday cake multiple times, which was tedious because I kept on seeing the goddamn slices, but that's okay. Now it was kind of complicated because I do have all of these ghosts and I can't really, you know, kill them, but thankfully by going over to an urn that I have been picking up since they've been dying, all my sims, and having the said ghost sim interact with that urn, you can have them return to the netherworld, which was the way to basically remove them from your household. And now every single time they die, I'll be telling them to become a free roaming ghost instead of a playable one, so that my household doesn't get full of ghosts. From there I did some adoptions and found out that Urea died, which at the time I had no idea why, but turns out Urea died because they starved to death. They weren't even an elder. Mila and Urea really Mila and Urea had the worst like deaths, and they weren't they like, you know, basically mother, father, son, daughter. Oops. So to make it even worse, I found out how Urea actually died and starved to death. Turns out the bassinet that spawns in when Grace was born, the science baby, they were stuck in like this corner and I never noticed it. So basically I just tortured Urea until they died. That is so much worse than just laughing it off a while ago, but I'm like, what, 1 hour and 20 minutes into editing and I only now found out how they died. God, that's awful. They had to come in though. jobs. And then to make matters worse with Liberty and her job progression, the other reason why she never finished her job, and I never allowed her to finish her job, was because she got this stupid ass bug that basically popped up with this message of, she's missing her job. Should she miss her job? That's not gonna be a good thing. Anytime I told her, no, don't miss your job, go to work. But it kept on popping up. It could do it like up to 3 to 4 times every single time she went in. So because of that, that's another reason why for some odd reason, Liberty's just awful at completing her jobs. Jonathan just has to do everything. Oh my God. Anyway, speaking of jobs, Jonathan got level 10 in the criminal world, so that means entertainer is up next. And I gotta be honest, the entertainer career is probably the worst one. His hours were just abysmal, his work days were abysmal, and this one took me forever to get through, which allowed me to, I guess, progress in the generation side of stuff, but still so freaking annoying and so tedious. Unfortunately, I had to make some difficult decisions by getting rid of Janelle, which I didn't really want to get rid of her ghost, but you know, I gotta get through a lot more kids, so bye bye Janelle. This allowed me to get the legacy player trophy for having 10 generations in one household, only 60 more to go. Through a lot of tedious process and, you know, just not writing a bunch of notes because it was just really me just sitting there staring at Jonathan going in every single day, or sorry, not every single day, every 3 days a week. But there we go, got the entertainer career completed with the Are You Entertained trophy. No, stupid goddamn job. I hated this one so much. Next up, painter career. Also got rid of Liberty. Useless. She might have been his love interest. Man, how could you not get through that goddamn culinary career? On the positive side, I did get the Circle of Life trophy, which was again from birth till death trophy, which you'll be surprised to find out that it actually didn't for some odd reason work on the child that I created through, like, you know, scientific stuff. It worked on Casey, the mother. So I guess the whole objective was realistically just to have them die of natural events, because this was the first official sim to do that, which sounds crazy to say. The fact that, you know, Mila burned to death, Uria starved to death. I don't really know how Aaron died, but Aaron died. I think I might have like pushed him too far. I don't know what happened with them, but there we go. Casey died of natural events, and the messed up thing is, next up was her daughter, which I called Grace, which is also a reference to an older video. Now, something that did happen that kind of annoyed me right after this was I wanted to adopt more people because I finally need more space, and I got probably the worst bug, which was when I went into the adoption menu, the game kind of froze. Like, the menu just didn't want to pop up, which because of that, I wasn't able to pause and save and exit, and I lost a lot of progress. It wasn't like really awful progress, but I guess I did level up the painter career a bit, and Casey and Grace are alive again. But yeah, whatever, just reset the game. You just gotta keep going. I did definitely give up after this for a while. Like, I was like, no, I'm not doing that again. So remember to save your games, people. Remember to save your game. After some time, got the Flying Colors trophy for level 10 in the painter career. Next up was the Tech Guru one, and through a lot of adopting and through a lot of progress, I got onto Alonzo, which was my last sim before 26 generations, ladies and gentlemen. Probably close to 100 hours of playing this game, which PlayStation doesn't really keep good track, but this took me forever. I was able to age him up, go into the adoption menu, adopt successfully, and there we go. Alphabet Legacy is mine, which is not a difficult trophy in any way. Just so freakishly time consuming, it's actually insane. But I'm so happy I managed to get it, and this trophy is finally complete. The household can finally be a slight bit more empty. Wow. There we go. Startup Upstart trophy for Tech Guru level 10 is complete. I know that it's happening really fast in the video, but trust me, it was not happening this fast while I was playing. Now, as for the next career, I decided to go into the culinary one, just because that's gonna be kind of, you know, not too difficult to get through. And while I was doing that, I decided to finally start making progress on the 5 spouses that your sim has to outlive. So basically, Jonathan needs to get 4 more spouses and then outlive them, which isn't too difficult because I just keep giving him the youth potion, which lets him, you know, again, reset his entire life, or at least entire adult life, back to the beginning. And because I got him into the culinary career, I decided to slightly improve his kitchen, or at least, well, expand it a tiny bit, which wasn't too crazy. But also, if you're wondering why I have 2 stoves, it's because they keep burning down one of them. Having 8 sims at once, they use stuff a lot and it keeps breaking. For some odd reason, stoves or ovens, whatever you want to call them, do not have the unbreakable ability on them, or at least not that I know of, so that was stupid. But yeah, I have 2 of them. Now, the first victim for Jonathan was Coleman Bowles, who was an elder, and this will actually make life easier if he dies faster if he manages to romance him up. And you know what? This was crazy crazy easy. Like, I don't know what was up with Coleman, but man, was he flirty and may I say horny. He was very ready for Jonathan to become his partner, then propose to him, and then get married. So I guess now I wait until he dies. And you know what? Him dying went actually pretty quick, and he died relatively quickly, which means now he has to find another victim, and that victim was Christina. Now Christina is a very interesting spouse for Jonathan. Not only did she take quite some time to get, she was really playing hard to get, but also the reason I wanted to get her is because there's a certain trophy that I have unfortunately avoided till now. And the reason it was unfortunately till now is because I think it's arguably the most difficult trophy inside of the game, and that is to get triplets. Yes, you need to have a sim give birth to triplets, and the way you can do this is with a fertility trait and some other stuff on the side that you can do, but man, is this a tedious and difficult trophy to do. Now Christina is going to be useful for this because obviously I'm going to have Jonathan and her try to go at it as much as possible so that he can hopefully have the triplets with her, but it's going to be extremely, and I mean extremely, RNG based. If you're wondering what RNG means, it's just randomly possible that it can happen, random generation in a video game, and it's so random it was driving me crazy. I'm not gonna get into insane detail right now, but let's just say I was having them go at it quite a lot and getting a lot of babies that were unfortunately not twins. Now the way you can hopefully improve the process of potentially getting a triplet is by having that fertility trait, then having your sim watch the kids network, also read kids books, and also listen to kids music, which was actually a feature that I forgot you could have done, and it does actually work, but unfortunately it works for twins. My luck in getting triplets was not it, and I was able to get twins like 4 times, which got even more difficult because if my household was up to 8, I then had to kill off their kids, or at least age them up and then kill them, but because their kids died, then they were sad, so then I had to wait forever until they were able to have kids again because they were sad and they weren't in a flirty mood. Just a very difficult and a very annoying trophy. While I was doing all of this, he did get up to level 10 in the culinary career, so that was pretty cool, and I was able to get that trophy. Moved him on to the secret agent career, which was pretty easy as well, and he was able to make progress on that, and he got the trophy for that. And then after that, I moved him over to the writer career, which is officially the last career that he needs to get through. Oh, a lot of process and a lot of grinding to get here, huh? And for this one, I kind of made a mistake because I made him take a promotion to become a journalist. And for the journalist daily task, it's a bit annoying and stupid because for this, you need to interview Sims every single day that he has work, or at least before the work, to then write up an article about that sim. And I had to interact with so many Sims non-stop, which I guess helped the process of getting up to level 10 easier without sitting there and staring at my screen the entire time, and then having, you know, Christina and Jonathan go at it every single day so that they hopefully would get triplets. But still, I made a really big mistake on doing that one. Now, because the triplet stuff was taking me forever, like I skipped over a lot of the grinding in this video because of course I'm not going to talk about every single detail because you don't have to know every single detail, just know it took forever. I discovered there's actually a way to skip over the painful process of RNG inside this game, and I don't want to hear any complaints from you guys because this was stupid. Like, this is such a stupid trophy in my opinion, and it's really dumb. Like, I think it's just a dumb idea to have an RNG based trophy, and the way that you can do this is by downloading somebody's sim who already has triplets inside of them and just simply give birth and unlock this trophy, which I decided to do because I just needed to get this one out of my way. I hated this one and it was taking me forever, and I think I went through so many kids with Jonathan to try to get this one. It was probably close to the 26 generations, even though they weren't really generations, so they wouldn't really count, or at least I don't think they're generations. I think it has to be a sim after a sim to count as generations, but still, it was super stupid and super annoying. So what I decided to do was download a character, which yes, she might be bald and barefoot, but she'll do perfectly fine, her into a household, and then I was able to wait casually, and there we go. I was so happy to get this trophy. I just wrote, it worked in like huge bold writing. I was just ecstatic and happy I was able to do it. And now it means I have only 4 trophies left to get. The first one is to get those 5 spouses out of the way and, you know, killed off. Level 10 in the writing career, basket case trophy, which is to get all emotions on your sim within 24 hours and then to have a full household of 8 ghosts. Super easy if I lock in. Lock in I did. First up, the pen is my dear trophy, which was for getting level 10 in the writing career. Next up, unfortunately, finally gotta kill Christina somehow. And guess what? You can actually do it by having your sim woohoo together in space multiple times when they're an elder. Now it did take me quite a few goes with Christina, but it did work out. And then it only took 2 journeys up into space and I got another sim killed off, and that means that there's only 1 more left, and thankfully this sim was super easy to rizz up. And there we go, the Black Widow trophy is unlocked, which means I now have only 2 trophies left, and the one that I decided to go for now is the one where I have to get all the emotions within 24 hours. And I was actually able to do this by using a guide made by LesGirl79 on YouTube, which I will leave down in the description if you want to watch it yourself. It's actually really good and good to follow. Essentially, I use like deluxe edition hats that you get inside of Sims that I think I got because it went free to play, that gave you the emotions of the sim. I created a brand new sim as well for this just to make my life easier, and it was kind of like, you know, a lot of concentration, but I was able to get in my first go. Something that she never mentioned, and in case you want to know, you do have to have your sim sleep specifically. That is an emotion that does count for the 24 hours, but I got it. I was kind of very worried about this trophy, but thankfully I managed to get it. It just was, you know, a lot of concentration, and kind of some of the emotions worked out in my favor. Now, as for the last trophy, you might be like, huh, he needs 8 ghosts. Is this where Jonathan dies? No. We're actually done with Jonathan for the video. My guy, you served me well. You did every single trophy I wanted you to do apart from the triplets, which is a shame, and the 24-hour emotion stuff, but whatever. It was way easier and faster to get the other guys done, because if I didn't do it that way, I would genuinely try to rip out my hair because I was up to here. You can't see it as I like to say, but I was up to here, ladies and gentlemen. So for this, what I decided to do was actually use a house that I did also try to download, which I was hoping would give me the emotions for 24 hours with the Sims, but this household did have 7 ghosts, which means there's only 1 sim that I have to kill. And I did take the longer way around this for some odd reason, because the fastest way I think to kill a sim is by woohooing in a rocket ship. This sim didn't have emotions with the other ones, so I wasn't able to do that, but what I decided to do was trap her in a box with a fireplace, which I was hoping she'd burn to death, but I think some of the stuff that she had on her made her stop doing stupid things like burning alive, and she just kind of stood in this box for countless hours while her ghost sims in the background just had, like, you know, the basic stuff. Also, I wanted to test out if water would help out, which probably is a faster way of drowning your sim, but I don't know. I was just like, yeah, whatever, stay in this box until you die. And I was getting to a point where I was like, oh, it might not work out because she is standing like a goddamn troop. Like, she did not want to go until she did. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Ghost Family Trophy and Ultimate Sim Guru Platinum. Oh my god. That took so long. This is such a long video. That was such a long grind, but I kind of loved every single little bit of it. So I did it. For once, I finished a challenge. The amount of times I've done a Sims video recently with Sims 3 on the 360 and then Sims 3 Pets on the 360, I finally completed it, which is kind of weird to say because, again, I just don't usually finish challenges, so being able to fully 100% Sims 4 was quite the journey. It took me countless hours, like a lot of hours. It took a lot of dedication, but I had a lot of fun, which is actually what I want to quickly talk about. Number 1. What future videos are you going to be seeing on this channel if you have watched this far? Well, probably more Sims videos. I have a lot of ideas for 100%ing basically most of the DLCs on Sims 4, Sims 3, Sims 2, and even Sims 1 has them. The only issue is it's really complicated to record older versions of the Sims games. I know that Sims 1 and Sims 2 re-released, but they have like all DLCs at once, and I need to figure out that situation. I want to play Sims 2 on the PS2, but recording on a PS2 console is also very complicated. I figured out that the PS3 actually can run Sims 2 games, but you have to buy a special version of it, and right now it sells for like basically over $300, and for me it's 300 euros, so it will be like almost $400, which is absolutely insane. So either I figure out how to record on the PS2 or whatever. So in between that, I am going to more than likely be covering Sims 4 DLCs, so you're gonna see more Jonathan or Sims 3 DLCs on PC, because I think that DLCs obviously expand on Sims games, and that's kind of their main idea, especially with Sims 4. Even though I completed everything in Sims 4 and there was so much content, I can't imagine how much more stuff there will be to do with the DLCs. So if you are looking forward to that, definitely be sure to subscribe, which is another thing I want to talk about. Thank you so freaking much for 5,000 subscribers. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Like, I started this channel years ago, didn't think about it, uploaded some other content on here, performed pretty well, and then I was like, wait a minute, I want to do videos on here because I just want to do something different, and this different stuff is working out. I'm kind of locking myself into a niche with Sims content, but I like Sims, and why not? Like, it's fun. You guys seem to enjoy it. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching Sims 4. If you haven't platinumed it or 100%ed it, I recommend. It's quite the journey, it's quite the grind, but it's possible because I finally did something. And if I did something, you can do it too. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Subscribe, like, and yeah.